it's Nikki from Two Tribes Primal Living.
And it's me, Albert. We're out here tilling dirt with shovels because
Hand tilling.
yeah, hand tilling because our tiller blew up. We started off with a tiller, but the piston blew up on it, and the piston rod poked a hole through the engine casing.
Our tool of convenience is no longer operational, so
we're having to do the physical, do it physically. And
so we wanted to talk to you today while we're doing it physically about physical capability and movement.
yeah, and just general physical conditioning. And you know, one of the things that we gave up out to come out here was our gym, our training modalities that we had become accustomed to as far as movement goes. But you know, there has been no lack of movement out here with the hills and the digging and the chopping wood and all that other stuff.
Just a little pearl of wisdom. You burn about 4,000 calories a day just based on the elevation.
Yeah,
So
we're at about 9,000 feet. So we're eating a lot more and consuming a lot more just existing out here because of the altitude. One of the things that was not in my favor when we moved out here was the altitude. I struggled severely with altitude. No matter how much I trained before we came out here, the altitude still ate my lunch. And that's why, while we're doing this, we kind of wanted to talk about training and movement and what happens when people literally stop training for movement. You know, you lose muscle mass, of course. You lose endurance, of course. You lose flexibility for mobility, range of motion.
So would you call this training?
No, this is work.
Or would you call this movement?
This is what you train to do. I know that there's a lot of off-gridders that would argue with me, or homesteaders, or people who live on farms or ranches or whatever. They would argue with me that this is not
That this is the training.
You know, and this is good movement. This is excellent movement, but
it's not balanced movement.
I'm not developing the strength that I could right now if I were to do some heavyweight training, or I'm not developing the endurance or the cardio endurance that I could doing a 15-20 minute workout. What I am doing is I'm supporting that training. I'm supporting the movements that make me strong, that make me endure, that make me mobile and capable. So when you just work, let's say chopping wood, you're only using certain muscle groups. You're only incorporating certain muscle groups. So shoveling is good for core, grip strength, stuff like that. But my quads, my glutes, my lats aren't getting the workout that I would get if I were doing pull-ups or bodyweight training or kettlebell training or barbell training or any of those modalities of training. So what happens is a lot of people will trade work, and I've seen them. They've come through our gym in the past where, oh, I work construction and I do this and I do that, and then we get them on a training program or a training workout and they're dying. They can't believe how
out of shape they are from just working. I had a UPS guy who claimed up and down. He claimed up and down that he was strong and he worked and he ran all day long, and you know, we put a little resistance to that running and put a little strength to that running, and he quit.
He realized he wasn't as strong as he thought he was. So work is work, and I consider work as something of a bonus. If you train strength and you train endurance, your work isn't going to be as hard. I've been out here going on 4 hours of moving dirt, and I can keep going, but looks like the rain is going to get a hold of us. But
it's okay, it'll soften it up.
you know, strength training, conditioning, you know, understanding
Work smarter.
balance in muscle groups, understanding that your
You have to train your quads and your hamstrings. You have to train your glutes and your hip flexors. You have to train your abs and your low back. You have to train your chest and your upper back. You have to do bicep curls and work the triceps. Those are opposing muscle groups that create balance. And then you've got secondary and tertiary muscles in there too. So being out here, most people, so we're moving, he's moving, shoveling, and if you watched me doing the same thing, I've got one side forward.
yeah. So
I'm always moving one way, so I'm creating an imbalance in my body if I don't switch sides.
yeah, and most people don't like to work their weak side,
No.
even in the gym. They only want to work their strong
Or
side.
their weak muscle groups.
So you develop imbalances, and with imbalances, you develop muscles that are pulling on other muscles or on joints that they shouldn't be pulling on, like becoming quad dominant from not going below parallel on a squat.
All
then
the
you,
time.
Then you develop knee issues, and I think I've seen a lot of farmers and ranchers and people who work construction. They're all busted up in some way, shape, or form. You know, as they get older. Me being 48, her being 50. You know, we have to be mindful of all the movements that we do out here. So we do continue to train, even though we do all this physical labor. We do continue to strength train.
And so let me ask you, because this is a relevant question for all these people watching. When you strength train, do you need to focus on an hour and a half? Or can you get a good strength training session in 15, 20 minutes?
15, 20 minutes. Intensity and intent is everything. If your intention is strength, focus on strength. Don't worry about speed. If your intention is on endurance and building agility and speed, focus on agility and building speed, and not working to failure. Once you start working to failure,
This one?
just dump it right there next to that other one. Once you start working to failure in certain capacities, then now you're no longer benefiting yourself with full range of motion or the intent of strength or the intent of agility, endurance. Now you're cheating.
So what you're saying is the harder, faster mentality.
Yeah, the harder, faster mentality, I get it for athletes, for people who are being paid to be athletic. But for somebody our age, you know, I'm like I said, I'm 48, she's 50. We can't risk the risky movements of that are going to create injury, or they're going to cause you know, some type of negative effect when it comes to being able to continue.
Did you have any injuries
be capable.
coming out here?
Oh yeah, I had a well, I didn't have injuries when we got here. I had injuries in the months prior to being out here, which were the result of a faster, more intense modality of training.
What did you do?
Which left me with, you know, knee problems, tendonitis problems in the elbow, wrist problems, back problems. But when I started training body weight training and slowed down my training and slowed down and focused on more leaving strength training to strength training and endurance training to endurance training, and I found that when you do it that way, you can focus on your endurance, or you can focus on your strength and not have to necessarily risk injury by mixing hardcore endurance with risky movements that often leave people injured. Usually shoulder. Shoulder was another issue I was dealing with. So
You know,
but
and I
body
came
w-
at injury as well from low back, ankle, weak rolled ankle several times, neck, shoulder. Everything I did was from doing things
Harder, faster.
harder, faster.
Harder, faster, heavier.
All for the goal of what I love what they're called buzzwords, but you know, for getting shredded or getting ripped or whatever. And it really jacked with me. So before I came out here, I trained to help alleviate. Now, I do suffer chronic pain, but I did not let pain stop me from training, and he didn't either.
No.
His pain.
And what happens a lot is once you start feeling pain in a certain part of your body, let's say your lower back or your knee, most people take that as a sign that hurts. I don't need to be doing that. I'm done. I don't like training. It hurts me. But
maybe initially, if you have an injury, okay, maybe
yeah,
3 days.
you need to figure out what's going on. But once you figure out what's going on and why, and that's part of learning your body, you need to figure out what's going on, and then you need to train to strengthen those muscle groups that are interfering, that are causing that pain. I mean, those pains could be something as simple as a muscle imbalance.
Yeah.
Or an inflamed tendon.
Or maybe you have tight hamstrings.
Yeah.
Low back's
tightness,
attributed to
mobility
height.
issues. You know, shoveling and digging and stuff like that is pretty repetitive work. So you know,
I will be sore tomorrow.
I'll probably be sore tomorrow. I'll probably have some pains that I wasn't expecting, especially since I've been doing it for about 4 hours. But it's not going to stop me from continuing to train. It's not going to stop me from continuing to build strength. And a lot of people will just give up at the first sign of pain. And pain is definitely something you should listen to. But when you're listening to it and it's telling you to never move again, or to never focus on strength training or endurance training again, your body's going to react to that lack of movement. And you know, imbalances are something that develop quickly, especially when there's pain involved. So, you know, I have a injury that is due to shoveling. I can't remember the name of it. It's
shoveler's back or shoveler's.
I can't. It was a coal miner shovel. The coal miner shovelers would get it. There's a specific name for it. It's just not in my brain right now.
Google it.
And what happens is one of the processes on the what is that, the what is the upper?
Cervical is upper, and then
C5 or however they're numbered. Well, anyway, you got a little process that sticks out that two muscles attached to, and what ends up happening is because of the repetitive shoveling movement.
It's a shoveler's fracture.
Yeah, it's a shoveler's fracture literally on one of the processes on the spine, on one of and what happens is the muscles get so tight from constantly shoveling that it breaks that little process off the spinal cord there, and it hurts like hell. I dealt with it for probably about 6 months until it finally healed. And what happens is that little bone dissolves into the body, and but it hurt like hell. And I figured shoveling was going to be something that was going to give me hell, but
you recognized the pain.
Yeah.
You were aware of it. You took a few days off to give your body a chance to recover.
Yeah, and I avoided those movements.
And he avoided those movements and did movements that strengthened other areas to bring balance back into play.
Yeah.
You also researched. It's a big thing. So let's talk about pain for a second. If you have knee pain, you get knee pain. It starts out with a twinge. It hurts, right? And yet you go back out and you run again. And you think, okay, I'm going to run again. And then it starts hurting. And then it becomes chronic. Once it hits chronic state, there's really not a whole lot you can do except have surgery. You can strengthen the muscles around it to help alleviate some of the pain. I always believe in working in orthopedics for as long as I did and physical therapy for as long as I did. Too many people go under the knife when they really should be working to balance and heal the body, whether they can do that on their own or whether they go to physical therapy first and find a therapist that helps them. They go under the knife because they visited an orthopedist or a physician and says, oh, it's an easy surgery, no big deal. You know, I'm an advocate of surgery in emergency situations, but not for pain, because I've treated too many patients myself who went into surgery for pain, who had more pain following the surgery. Low back surgery, knee surgery, hip surgery, all of those. So that being said, when it comes to pain, recognize the pain, rest a few days, figure out your body, find your imbalances, contact somebody you know, contact a qualified professional that's not going to cut, that supports your decision to not cut, and heal that pain. And how do you heal that pain?
Body weight training, progression back into the range of the motion of the movement of where the pain originated from. There are so many progressions to every movement that build strength and build muscle integrity and joint integrity that a lot of people just don't realize it, either because they don't educate themselves or the trainers that they're working with are so busy and overwhelmed with other clients and just don't get it. And you know, I had to go through that where I literally had to become a fitness coach in order to heal my own body. I had to study, and as long as I was studying it, I figured I might as well practice it.
And you studied physiology and anatomy. That was part of your training, your one of your certifications. Yeah?
Yes. So the anatomy is a very complex system.
I gotta stop you. This dude's mind is like science on steroids, and he sees things mechanically that the average person, I would say 98% of the population. So when he went into physiology and anatomy, he literally knew every mechanical function of every muscle, every bone, everything in the body.
Yeah, but before that, I didn't know anything, and I figured that the coaches that were training me had learned all this stuff and knew what the different muscle groups were supposed to do. But you know,
it doesn't come standard with a lot of
certifications.
More popular certifications.
Yeah, it just doesn't come. Yeah. Movements and the progressions and stuff are the things that people focus on with certification, but going into the anatomy part of it and understanding how it all works together, you know, I thought every certified coach went through that, and it turns out that they don't. So
he didn't realize his wife, as a personal trainer, had to do that as a separate study to learn the body.
Yeah, so I was able to understand healing the body and understanding that movement in certain capacities is actually hurting the body. And now, you know, with the help of other coaches who are savvy with anatomy, you know, I was able to heal every injury that I was dealing with, from shoulder, two shoulder rotator cuff injuries, patellofemoral injuries, pretty severe tendonitis, a pretty severely sprained wrist. But it's all part of that movement, and we like to promote movement.
Yes.
In any capacity, whether it's doing what we're doing here, shoveling,
walking. Oh my
biking,
gosh.
whatever. You know, if you're moving, you're building strength. But for us as trainers and as coaches, this isn't enough for us. This is I'm not going to say playtime, but relax.
Well, relax.
It's active recovery.
Yeah.
So it's not going to develop strength. It's not going to develop endurance. If anything, it's going to develop a few aches and pains that I don't want to deal with tomorrow.
And make you extra hungry to where we go down there and we probably eat a pound of bacon.
Yeah, but overall, you know, movement is movement, but you know, when intent is involved, what's your goal? Is your goal weight loss? Is your goal strength? Is your goal flexibility or sport? You know, it all makes a big difference.
So that being said, with us moving, with us getting out here and doing what we do, we train to move. We train to do what we do. And although there will be dissenting opinions, I will say that I would highly suggest, recommend, and even fully promote activity and training as separate things, but that you always need training to support activity.
Yeah, if I want to keep doing this into my 70s, I'm gonna have to work on balancing the muscle groups that I'm overusing right now. I am overusing muscle groups right now, and I can feel it. I can feel it in my grip. I can feel it in my shoulders, and I can feel a little bit of it in my calves.
And I'll have to say the same. My quadratus lumborum on the right side is seizing up, and it's because I'm doing a lot of rotational twisting movements, and it's all part of my chronic pain and previous injuries that was caused by inappropriate lifting, should I say, and going harder, faster. But if we want to get older and be
Age gracefully,
capable, fully functional, I want to.
Yeah.
You know, my mom is fully functional. She's fully functional. She could do this at 72. She would be out here doing this like a boss.
but she trains.
But she trains. So age is a number that's between the ears. I mean, I'm sure you won't be 122 out here doing this,
No.
but you age gracefully. You age functionally. You're not on medication sitting at home going, I wish I would have, because you are doing. And I love that about us.
Yeah, and you know, we knew that being up here off grid with all the work, chores, things like that, you got to be a hardy person. You can't be weak. You can't be injured. You can't be lazy, really. I mean, there's no way to be lazy out here. If you get lazy, you don't eat. You're cold. You're wet. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen if you're lazy. But you know, training to be able to continue to do this is something that we keep forefront with continuing to train.
All right, so rain's about to hit us.
Yeah.
Pretty hard. I
Yeah,
can see it coming.
rain.
So
We got to get cleaned up
we got to get cleaned up. Like, subscribe.
and hit that bell notification
Yeah.
button to be notified when we put a new video
Get
out.
moving.
So yeah, go train,
Go train.
go lift something heavy, and go run somewhere far.
Bye.